and welcome to NUFC Talk. sorry about the laughing. I had Yanis before we press record dropping some C-bombs about Michael Owen. So yeah, hey, welcome to NUFC Talk. If you haven't already, make sure you are clicking subscribe, hitting all the buttons on YouTube. If you're on the podcast, cheers for listening and downloading. Get us on social media channels on Insta, TikTok and Twitter, NUFC Talk Pod. If you want to get us directly on Twitter, my handle is Glenn_NUFC.
At Yanis NUFC for me, and that's it.
Yeah, that was maybe our best one. I even got all the
Strong intro.
Yeah, strong. Good, that one.
Good start. How are you doing, anyway? Good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Actually, today I got another set of tickets for next year. I've got a third gig to look forward to next year. So I've got Sam Fender. Take the missus to see 1975 in January, and then me and my pal got tickets to go and see Blink-182.
Decent.
Yeah, next.
Where's that? Where are they playing?
Glasgow and Manchester. There's a few.
Oh, they'll be sold out by
We
now.
got tickets for Glasgow. They went on sale this morning.
Sold out?
I don't know if it's sold out yet.
Mate, I'd 100% go to that. Like.
Yeah, sorry, man. Should have asked. But
yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks. Good.
And the ticket prices are very close to 182 as well.
Are they?
Yeah, they definitely know it's like dads that's going to be going to see them.
Aye.
We were working out last time I seen them, I was like 19.
I've never seen them.
19 and 20, so it's literally 18 years ago.
Yeah, I'm quite a fan actually.
Yeah,
I dabble in a bit of Blink-182 every now and then.
I went to try and get some like the in hindsight's probably best because I tried to get some of the standing ones. And they all sold out, and I thought, actually, fucking 2 hours of watching it.
2 hours of fucking standing up.
So, anyway,
My back will be fucking in bits.
I had to get some, like, seat ones, and the only ones left there were, like, these platinum ones. I was like, we're going anywhere. £191 a ticket.
Jeez, oh.
Yeah.
But it's not once in a lifetime, but it's...
Yeah.
You're not going to see them for very often, like.
No, plus...
I mean, they're actually... I mean, they're probably like 45 or something. They're not like 90.
Yeah. Plus, also, a night away.
Yeah, night in Glasgow.
Priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. Where's it at? Hampden.
No, is it the Hydro, something it's called?
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, so, positive start of the week. How about you?
Decent. Nothing really, mate. Quiet weekend, really. No tickets purchased. Put the Halloween stuff up. Because we're away next week. So we'll put it up this week.
So you're going to do next week, like, face paint or something, the pod?
Maybe do a Halloween pod.
Halloween pod talk of like scary games gone past and
Last fucking 14 years under
we'll both come to Steve Bruce. I'm like, actually
cabbage head. I've got Freddie. We've got Freddie.
So I've got a box of screws down here. It's going to be kicking me for the whole pod.
Freddie's got he's going to be a pirate. And Harper's going to be witch.
Nice.
I'm going to be like rip a t-shirt, paint my eyes dark, zombie dad, boom.
There you go.
Too easy.
Easy peasy.
That's it. Other than that, mate, the game was pretty decent. Well, the stream wasn't.
Aye. The official stream that you
official stream.
Anyway, there's actually a few bits to talk about this week because the game 0-0, there's only so much we can dive into that, but actually quite a lot of stuff's gone on around Newcastle. So about 4 or 5 hours ago it was officially announced, all the press came out on the social medias for Newcastle. They've just got Peter Silverstone as the new Chief Commercial Officer. So he's come on board to help create more revenue for the club. And to be honest, I'd heard he'd done a bit for Arsenal, and that was pretty much all I knew about him. So whilst I was waiting for you and having a beer, I did a bit digging. So he's come from One Football, which is apparently the biggest football platform on the internet. I know, I never heard of that either. So maybe it's one for the kids, that one. But yeah, One Football's one of the... One Football, yeah. So we'll have a Google that one, see what's going on. But the one which is more interesting, I thought, was he's been at Arsenal for 7 years.
Okay.
So he started off as business development, went to commercial director, and then went into chief commercial officer, which is the role he took on at Newcastle. And this is where it gets interesting, he was the main person behind the relationship between Adidas and Arsenal. So that would be cool to see Adidas come back to Newcastle in the future. He was also behind the Visit Rwanda sponsor. And he was the guy that made it happen, the All or Nothing deal.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Ooh, that could spell positive things. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I know Eddie's come out and said he wouldn't want that, but he was the guy that made it happen between Amazon and...
Eddie Howe's furious when someone says, like, intensities are mantra or something. He's like, can't believe they leaked that. It's interesting. So the Adidas deal's worth, what, like 70 million a year or something, is it not?
I'm not sure. I think I read somewhere that they were looking at what can they do with Castro, but
Yeah.
that was it like 7 million a year, and you had other teams which were worth like freaking a couple $100 million. For
I think they're like
contract.
300 million over 5 years or something like that. But I think like Adidas and Nike seem to me to be Champions League only.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think so. If you're not in Europe, how many teams outside of like Premier League do you see like getting made by Adidas? Like Adidas is quite like it's quite legit to be made by Adidas these days. If it's a Puma, make any old shirt them.
Like just looking at them shirts there, the Puma one, the Castro one, and Adidas, like
That was it. See that shirt there, which is the
Northern Rock one for the podcast.
it's the Northern Rock for the podcast, and it's the one where Amiobi. I always remember him like beating his chest out of scoring against Sunderland.
That Kevin Nolan either?
Kevin Nolan, yeah. Is Kevin Nolan, Joey Barton, the 5-1?
5-1, is that one?
I'm sure that's that shirt. I've got fond memories of that shirt, even though when I bought that shirt, they sent it out with his true story. They sent it out to me with 2 sleeves that were different sizes. So my like right sleeve was mega tight, my left sleeve was like baggy.
That's Puma for you.
That's Puma. Aye. So that has all right memories. So I think it was an okay season, but it's not a great shirt.
No.
I actually don't mind the Big 4 shirt, you know. I actually don't mind it.
I know it's got loads of belters. I like the shirt. I like the design. I know Castro's got loads of drip online because some of the shirt quality's been shite. Touch wood, the ones I've got have been okay so far. But that one, I've always been on as the 4 shirt.
Yeah.
But it was a takeover shirt as well.
It's a nice shirt, like. So, yeah, feels to me that like Adidas, if you're in Adidas and Nike, you're back in the big leagues. That's what it feels to me like. It's an elite club, big leagues.
Okay.
But yeah. Speaking of new shirts,
I'm going to say you go and talk about the new shirts, and I don't know if you noticed we've left the chimes up outside the bar, so I'm going to take them down just so we don't have some background. So fill with the black shirt a bit.
So I bought it. I think there was some. There's been some backlash online that it's like kind of money grabbing almost from Newcastle, but my point of view is that I don't mind spending a bit extra cash on it because we essentially need the revenue as a club. So anything we can do extra as a club, I don't mind paying, and you don't have to buy the shirt. Yes, it's limited edition. Do you know what I mean? Yes, it's limited edition. We're probably not going to wear it very often, but you don't need to buy the shirt. Do you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah, I'm back.
I do.
I heard all that though.
I do understand that people are griping that it's like, it's kind of the club sort of money grabbing almost. But
You could say that's the same with any bit of merchandise.
the third kit's money grab.
Yeah, or even like the coats, or the polo shirts, or the t-shirts, like anything which has NUFC.
Training top every year, new set of training top. Yeah, of course it is.
Like especially them training tops which come on as like orange and purple and green. You don't need to buy them, or the big like dugout coats that the coaches have.
Big Arsene Wenger jacket.
Yeah, like they're like 100 quid. You don't have to have a coat, but no one's kicking off about the coat.
Yeah, I don't mind. I bought the shirt, 65 quid. I bought that. I quite like it, me. I like it. All right, it's got a bit Nan's Curtains vibes going on.
Well, if you want to buy it, if you don't. Just...
Yeah, exactly. Don't bitch about it either way. Like, I actually think it's a really nice shirt. So anyway, what else has been going on? Anything else?
But anyway, just on the Peter Silverstone note,
Yeah.
I think just shows you the club is so much invested in getting this right in long term. Like you can see, like the people that develop and back in. That's just another key person at the Broughton, which is going to be a good asset to the club.
So is he brought on to especially drive global commercial revenue? Is that
Chief Commercial Officer, and it's all about just bringing in extra money to the club.
so? Because that's where Newcastle are so far behind. Like they're a sort of big club, obviously in the North East, big club in terms of sort of Premier League presence and all that sort of stuff. But in actual fact, globally, like when you go on holiday, you'll definitely see like Rangers, Celtic, Man United, Bars, Liverpool, and all that sort of stuff. Right. But you never see Newcastle.
It's coming on.
It is coming, but that's so yeah, another good signing.
Yeah. And then you want to mention a few things you've seen in the Eddie Howe press conference?
Yeah, I like the Eddie Howe press conference. I tune in, but I watch them every week. I like them. I think he's so good in front of the press, and he's got such a good rapport with them. He talked Bruno again. He was asked again about Bruno's worth, and he said basically his comment about Bruno's worth was, we would 100% buy him again. Basically, it's a daft question.
There's a few whispers I've seen online where they're offering Bruno another contract.
Yeah, he'll get one. Mm-hmm. I think he'll get one before the end of the season. Maybe before January.
Yeah, because Real Madrid might be sniffing, so you never know.
I think Real Madrid are one of the few clubs that if they come calling and if you're a player that has that love and affiliation, grew up watching them and all that sort of stuff, mm-hmm. they're one of the few clubs that could prize most players from.
It's all. I would say them and Barcelona's the only two teams. I almost feel like Barca's lost the romance a little bit.
Yeah.
But not PSG. I think literally only Real Madrid. They wouldn't go to another Premier League club. Yeah. They're probably the only team in the world.
Bayern Munich don't really have that pull power, do they?
No. But I think Real Madrid might be the only team in the world that could pull Bruno away. But anyway, we don't talk about that.
But yeah, and then he talked about Trippier, the importance of how important he was in terms of he was asked kind of in the full-back for England situation, and then he basically said that you can't underestimate his importance, especially being the first signing and everything.
Yeah.
They didn't plan for him to be the first signing; it just happened to be, and it was a marquee in a sense. He also talked about Dan Ashworth's comments about Ashworth's sort of see Newcastle have no ceiling or this or ceiling is could be anything in terms of club size. A bit of banter about the fact that he'd had no interest in comments, but he meant no interest in the media comments, not Dan Ashworth's. He got a lot of interest in Dan Ashworth's comments. And then he was asked, interestingly, about St James's Park. Yeah. There's been some chat about what do we do with the ground and would you move? And he's like, no, Newcastle's the sort of St James's Park's home. Like you want the city, and that's the first thing you can see and everything.
But that's where the is it? God, I forgot his name. Is it Eales? Do you know the CEO Newcastle, the chief exec? He said that he wants to meet up with a Newcastle supporters to talk about renaming the stadium. If the right deal came across to create more revenue, I don't know if it's saying would we be okay? Not that you text us and ask, but there's obviously some the supporters trust that you maybe contact and sit down with and say, look, if this was the idea, how would it come across? Because the way Ashley did it in the past couldn't have been a worse way of approaching the.
I think Sports Direct at St James's Park, I don't think people will be as furious about it if they felt there'd be any sort of ounce of positivity on the pitch for the club. Yeah. But it was apparent that everyone knew that it wasn't going to be in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. Any of that revenue was going to be back into the club. It's just basically so he can slap something across to market his brand. So yeah, it's completely different. I personally am not opposed to the idea of changing the St James's Park name. It'll still be known as St James's Park. We'll all call it St James's Park. We're not going to call it anything different. Mm-hmm. Us colloquially known as Newcastle fans will always call it St James's. Yeah. So even if it's for 3 years to boost commercial revenue, so we can put the foot down and compete quicker, then fine. And last thing, he was asked about Elliot Anderson, and he said that he's pushing for starting. He's going to be important. So it was some interesting comments around his presser.
Yeah. Should we dive into the game then, mate?
Just do it.
So overall, we went 0-0. I thought was a great result for starters. Starting 11, which I think a lot of us kind of expected. There was a few injury pullouts beforehand. So Maxi and Isak.
Fucking Craig Hope was at the Grim Reaper, wasn't he, on Twitter? Every time he opened his mouth, it was something negative, wasn't it?
But from what we've read, it doesn't sound like they're going to be back. Like Isak, they said the next 3 games. Maxi's just said it is a setback, and it's.
I'm sure I read Isak was going to be we won't see him until the World Cup.
Brilliant. And then Willock obviously was a bit ill beforehand, so he came in starting 11 with Pope, Trippier, Shah, Bottom, and Byrne. Middle 3 of Longstaff and Bruno kind of switched a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think Longstaff was sitting a bit deep, would you say?
Yeah. Well, I think those two can kind of alternate slightly.
Then Big Joe came in as the third midfielder. And up top we had Miggy, Wilson and Murphy. So yeah, bar the Wilson used to saying he's injured. used to saying Wilson's injury setbacks, but with the Maxi setback, I think Murphy coming back in, we all kind of starting again. He played all right.
Yeah, he's okay. Not as good as last couple of games, but Dan Burn again. Like, it's interesting, isn't it? I think Dan Burn should not let him down. He's like, yeah, you know, you're gonna get 7 out of 10 off him.
Yeah. There's a few times it looked a bit nervy.
We'll get into Dan Burn.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't 10 out of 10 this week, actually.
But the first big talking point was after 9 minutes, Callum Wilson being taken down by.
Was it only 9 minutes in that?
By both centre halves.
Yeah.
Hey, even Danny Murphy has said that's a penalty. If he says that's a penalty for Newcastle, it's a fucking penalty, because I've never heard him say anything positive.
I know. I was like penalty, and then I was the VAR. Look at that, and that'll be given you get called up tomorrow. But the VAR check was like over in like blink of an eye. I think it was barely even checked. Not that I was watching it live or anything, but.
Yeah, I've heard TalkSport, Sky Sports. They had that the referee on, the old guy.
Peter Watters, he wheeled him out again, haven't he?
Aye. So every person
except
the guy in VAR, which is Sir Alex Ferguson,
and I put this down in my notes. NUFC TV's John Anderson said it was soft, not enough in it. Said he's going down too easy. Aye, says not enough in it.
Wow.
No, John. No.
Yeah.
Aye, so the cool commentator was like, yeah, it's he's gone. I was going to use Irish accent there. He's like, yeah, he's gone down too easy, not enough in that for me.
He couldn't stay on his feet if he tried.
I was like, fucking Rancho getting inside his shorts, man.
Yeah, his thigh came across like Wilson's thigh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the speed he's going at, the angle he's running at, yeah, for me. And so I was watching I watched on YouTube. You can see like I think it's ESPN's coverage or something like that, so you can see them talking about it. I think it's Michael Owen, Shea Given, and somebody else. And Michael Owen's like, Shea Given's like, I don't even think that's a hard decision. It's like,
the referee should have got that.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, the referee should get that right on the pitch. That's a penalty all day long. Instantly, I was at pen. Like, didn't think there's anything. That's like storm. I know people hark about the Sancho one. That felt like it would have been soft to me, but you've seen them given. But that with Varane one is fucking no brainer.
So the referee, it's that Dermot guy. Is it Dermot Gallagher or something?
O'Leary.
Dermot O'Leary. So on Sky, he was trying to give the reasons why he didn't get the penalty, like VAR didn't overturn it. So it's got to be clear and obvious. So the referee has seen the tackle, so he hasn't missed it. So the referee said, he's taken him out. I don't think there's enough on it. So how the referee worded it was the reason why VAR apparently didn't overturn it. So if he missed the contact, or he said, I don't think he's caught him, apparently VAR, he obviously just saving the mates here. So if he said, I don't think there's contact, then VAR would say, it's clear and obvious you've missed contact. But because he said there hasn't been enough, he's made contact but there wasn't enough on it, it wasn't clear and obvious. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so if he missed it, it was like, well, what foul? They'd be like, oh, well, this one here.
Penalty.
Yeah.
If he said,
didn't think he hit him there.
I don't think he caught him, then he would have said it's clear and obvious you've missed it.
Or he died or something, yeah.
Yeah, but because he said, I know he's clipped him, I don't think there's enough on it, it's not clear and obvious that he's... I was like, wow.
But it is also clear and obvious. Like, that's the thing, you can't look at that. If you put that in front of... If you somehow took Varane's face and his shirt off and made them just two dummy football players and was like, is that a foul? You have 99 people being, yeah, a foul.
It's schoolboy football. This is how not to tackle in the box.
Yeah, it's an awful challenge.
That penalty there, the centre half would be getting reamed out at half time and saying that was ridiculous. What on earth are you doing tackling like that? There's absolutely no way that you should be taking the guy out there. You literally just took him out.
Because the only thing I thought was maybe the cover from Martinez was like that's how they were going to survive from VAR, but it was seen, so he saw the contact, but he didn't think it was enough. So because that VAR were like, well, you've seen that and you don't think there's enough. So I don't think there's enough for. So at what point is it clear and obvious though?
It's the way he worded the question to VAR. That was the explanation.
So if he was like, what foul? It'd have been pen. Yeah, it's a joke, lad. I also thought I think Newcastle could have had one later on with Dan Burn getting his shirt pulled. I think it's a bit of both. But even then, that was over in a blink of an eye. Like they barely even checked. And the commentary I was watching, they were both saying they were like Varane's looking to get away with both of them there. Yeah. After that,
this where Longstaff tried a few long passes. He looked like he's getting some confidence, like starting to run with the ball a bit more. Murphy was, I wouldn't say he's having his way with Dallas, but like he looked confident again. Running them two seem to be like really getting some confidence going, which is great to see. I suppose the next big talking point was the Joe Linton run where he got tackled, which led to.
That's after, before he hits the bar and then the post.
No, it comes after.
Oh, does it come after? Is it?
Yeah, so there's the.
So he's run.
The Joe Linton run, which leads to the Trippier free kick,
which led to the corner.
No. So it led to the
Trippier putting it back in the box. Yeah.
So Trippier hit the wall and then just booted it back in. Joe Linton
more culture than that, mate. Whipped it up into the air.
Whipped it back in over his shoulder. Joe Linton hits the bar with a header, comes back out and then hits the post.
Yeah, but I mean,
at first I was trying to think of a defence for Joe Linton. Like the first one, hits the bar, fair enough. That sometimes you see him score and you don't. But the second one, I thought maybe he just can't get his head round it enough to bring it back in. But
I thought it'd come at him quite quick. But he's got to score, really.
Big games like that, they're the ones that you've got to score. So
it's like it's so very Joe Linton, though, isn't it?
No, like that's why you're not a striker, mate.
Yeah, he can do everything like if you want from midfielder except just finish it. I mean, it's a regulation that, like, isn't it? It's a dolly that. Even if you see like De Gea's like long gone and he's out the way, like
it's so funny. One header, bar, second chance, post, like whack at that. We had a corner. I'm not sure it was off the back of this one, where it's obviously another one from the training ground, where you bring the ball into the front post, and it wasn't until I watched it back a second time. Wilson's actually under here on the line,
and he steps off and the flick.
Yeah, so he makes the run from De Gea, so he's not actually marked.
Yeah.
So he gets a free header and glances it across, and Bruno almost pulled off. You know that goal against Southampton where he just managed to flick like his heel or his thigh at it? That was another. It came at Bruno really quick, but it just showed you that we're getting the extra work that they're putting in the training grounds really starting to come through.
Yeah, so I've written like set pieces that we do look really threatening, but probably not yielding as much as like what. Yeah. Even there was another one that was put in the back post and Dan Burn headed it, and like De Gea sort of, I don't know what he did, he sort of slapped it away. I don't know what he was really doing there, De Gea, but we're pretty dominant.
Back post, I had that wrote down. I missed that one. But God, if they could just teach Dan Burn to get it on target.
I know. Yeah. Do you think that's why? Do you think that's one of the reasons why Dan Burn's over target as well, because he offers decent aerial presence?
Yeah, I think the only thing Dan Burn lacks left back is just that bit extra pace, isn't he?
And a bit of quality in the ball, like he's neat and tidy, and he knocks it back in the midfield or whatever, and he'll pop it back off. But
did you speak to him?
No, I didn't mean.
Did you hear Dan Burn on TalkSport?
No, my brother was telling me about what he was saying, like, but
yeah,
he's living the dream.
Ali McCoist, and I think it was Shea Gibbons, Stuart Pearce were the three that spoke to him, and Burn came across really well. They asked him about like, what do you think for England? He was just really honest. He said, I think it's too late for me now. Like, where it's at in my career. He said, if I got called up, I'd obviously jump at the opportunity. He said, like, where are you comfortable playing? He's like, left back, I'll play a left wing back. I can play left of the back three, left of the back two. And he said, where are you most comfortable? And he said, left centre half of a back four.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, yeah. He's got that. He's got that written all over him, really.
But then he said, look, I'll just play anywhere on the pitch. He just came across as such a genuine bloke and class, like.
If thinking, I know you talked a bit about the other week, you're thinking about playing three at the back.
Oh, yeah.
You can't look at a left-sided centre-half that's playing better for England. Like, you can't really. Cody's playing well at Everton, like, I'll say that, but he likes to play in the middle of the three, doesn't he? I
like Cody. Can you imagine if Southgate just caught everybody off guard and his back three was like Cody, Dyer and Dan Burn?
Aye. Maybe better than Maguire, but
And then there was the Ronaldo goal / non-goal, which there's loads of snippets going on of. If you have seen the picture, it's off the back of there was an offside or a free kick for some reason. Struggling to think why. And Sharp passes the ball back to Pope to take a free kick, but it's a very soft pass back, isn't it? So Pope stands there to take the free kick, and Ronaldo slowly walks to him, nips the ball, and then puts it into an empty net. And then it must be 9 Man United players all charge at the referee, and there's loads of still shots going on Twitter and all the different social media saying this is why Man United's the most hated team, and this picture sums up Man United, and obviously Chief in the middle. Bruno giving it this.
Bruno.
Yeah. Conducting all 9 Man United players are all giving it this.
He does give it that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so accurate.
But if you watch it, the Man United players all sprint from different directions towards him, towards the referee. Aye.
So that's still ingrained. I can remember watching on BT Sport, it was Rio Ferdinand, Steven Gerrard, Lampard and Ferdinand definitely, I think. And they were talking about that sort of stuff, and he was saying Fergie was appeal for absolutely everything. He knew if refs he could bully, you knew who you could get round, he could influence, you knew who you could be pally with to get something over them, you knew who you could be just bark at, and they give you a few little things It's a joke though. He hadn't taken the free kick. Do one. You wouldn't see Messi doing that.
So, then there was only a few other chances, wasn't there? Anthony started getting a bit, making use of the Newcastle legs, getting a bit tired, I reckon.
Well, I think so. Burn was booked just before half time, and there was a bit of chat on Twitter do you take him off and bring Target on? I think a lot of people I think that would be before half time, and then so by the time the second half came,
So I was subs in the second half. Fraser came on 59 minutes for Murphy. Then there was a triple substitution, which was Willock for Bruno, Wood for Wilson, Byrne for Target at 78, and then Lascelles came on for Shart at 91 minutes. And then we had Miggy had that chance at the edge of the box.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good chance, or what's your thoughts?
I think Miggy's always going to be this kind of frustrating, isn't he?
I think that would have been an easier shot if he had a right foot than his left. He can't, because he kind of just stabbed his left foot out, but he's facing a corner flag, so it's almost he tries to get
timid in it.
Yeah.
I think Miggy's one of these people. He's got a bit of random, outrageous class in him, but he's got so many waste opportunities in him as well. So, all in all, I think second half was more kind of backs to the wall. He might need to put a bit of pressure on, but quite a bit of pressure on actually. And you see the bend instantly. The drop off to Chris Wood is first thing it goes up to him, it's not held, and it's tries to roll his man and just runs away from him and loses it. His ball just turns straight over again. It needs to stick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think all in all, second half, I think it was it was good seeing that, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we had an opportunity when there was almost a little breakaway and Fraser had the ball. He had the chance to put it over for Wood, or put it through for Wood, and I think he hit Varane. The angle he had, I thought he should have maybe try to put it over the top to play him through. But I suppose it comes with confidence. If that was Murphy Wilson running through, or
maybe you'd
expect to see something a little bit different. And then they had 2 big chances at the end, and Rashford got put through, and that's where Pope came out towards the edge of his 18-yard box.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh no, we've played so hard. The team's grafted nuts off. They put the ball through to Fred. I was quite relieved when I saw Fred coming onto it. But even he should be any footballer should be putting that away. Sharp puts enough on it just to distract him a bit.
Does he try and open himself up and guide it in? Because it just kind of floats away, doesn't it? It's a bit just a bit rubbish, wasn't it? Just a little bit shit.
Yeah. But I think Fred's.
But I'd written screams of Man United winner. That's what the last 10 minutes I was just thinking, oh, nah, this is unbearable. This.
But I think I read somewhere on Twitter as well Fred's keeping Bruno out of the Brazil starting team.
It's absolutely bonkers that, isn't it?
Yeah. If you had to pick Fred or Joe Linton, who would you pick?
I think I'd comfortably pick Joe Linton.
Yeah.
Comfortably, yeah.
So
I wouldn't swap £50 million Fred for 40 million Joe Linton.
Nah, I agree. I agree. So
maybe just try Fred up front actually.
do a reverse, and then Casemiro puts that lovely ball in for Rashford. So it's his cross.
Is that? Oh, is it? Oh,
outside
the boot. Yeah.
Outside of his right boot, and you see that Rashford had the ball, and it happens in slow motion. You see that side of Pope's goal looks huge.
Yeah.
You could drive a bus into the gap, and somehow it drifted wide.
He's got to score that.
Yeah,
That's why he's not a number 9. That's why he should play wide. As good as he's been, and everyone's going how good he's been. He's good because Ronaldo's not mobile. But if Ronaldo is on that is 1-0, and he's doing the CU, whatever it is.
Most strikers, centre forwards, like even if you get like a Danny Ings or Welbeck, like them sort of, they'd be putting them on top.
Yeah, it's poor that that was game right there. Mm-hmm. What about the Wilson chance? We missed the Wilson chance.
Yeah, I think that was
first half, wasn't it?
Yeah. No. This was the start of the second half, the press, where Wilson dragged it wide.
Oh, I already talked about it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Anyway.
We did actually talk about that, but no, that was a rewind from 94th minute to 40th. We pressed really well, and Wilson dragged the shot wide with his left foot.
We did press really well, and as much as Man United are like or a bit everywhere, you can see how they've improved under Ten Hag, because sometimes and yes, we win the ball back, and we've done that. Everyone this season, even City and Liverpool, have done that too. But they did get through the press quite well. And do you know what they reminded me of? They actually, if they'd have won that game today, it'd have been similar to like Man United under Solskjaer. They were very good. If they got out the press,
yeah,
they were very good. Anthony's going to be a big player for them this season. Like he is good like him.
I think if you give Ten Hag, and like, look, if you're a regular listener, like, oh, just a football fan, it's great seeing Man United had their struggle.
Oh, it's awesome.
I think that they're on the up now.
Yeah.
You give Ten Hag, I don't know how much business they'll do in January, but you give them another summer. If he gets a striker, like a centre forward that he wants, and if he gets another centre half that he wants, maybe another 10, because Bruno Fernandes just looks like a shell of a player, which Man United do have the power to go and get 2 or 3 big players.
100%.
Then Man United's challenging again. Right now, they're trying to make a mobile Ronaldo work, which
I still think they need fullbacks on both sides. Dalot is not good enough. Wan-Bissaka is definitely not good enough. Shaw is arguably not good enough. Has his moments.
See, we got linked with Shaw this week.
Did we? Well, he's out of contract, isn't he? Yeah. Or is he coming out?
Coming out of contract, going into last year. We were linked with Luke Shaw.
What, big damn bird, aren't we? And then, so yeah, I also think that Malacia, whatever his name is, he's not really getting a look in at left back.
But he's even decent in a few games.
And that's why I put my bloody dream team hasn't started since. Furious. But I tell you one thing, the illness that we had in terms of will it not start, which was a bit of a surprise, I think. I thought we'd go with energy against Man United. They didn't have Eriksen start because of illness, and it doesn't half show like he's become like actually really important for them, like Eriksen in that deeper role.
One of the pundits was crying for Bruno to get benched just to give him a bit of a shock. Like, look, you're not bulletproof.
I think Bruno Fernandes is a player that has got goals and assists in him, but if he's not doing that, he doesn't really do a whole lot else. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't get on the ball.
If we went to that game and you saw Casemiro and Fred in the holding roles, because Eriksen's randomly found himself in the holding roles, if you got to choose someone to play that 10 role to play against, you got a choice of Eriksen or Bruno Fernandes. I'd much rather play against Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd rather play against Bruno Fernandes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather if I was a Man United fan, you'd choose.
Yeah, of all the midfielders that I was happy to see not playing was probably Eriksen. As much as Casemiro makes them tick, and he's good at breaking the ball, but he's neat and tidy. He's not going to well, to be fair, he put up, I would say, the boot pass on the plate for Rashford, so maybe. Yeah. But yeah, I think Bruno
must have been thinking fuck me, what have I got to do here?
Yeah, such a chance. He does the right thing, Rashford, in terms of guiding it back across. Here's another thing as well, that ESPN video, I think it was, that I was watching, where they were talking about it. Michael Owen talks about the spin on the ball. I've never heard, ever, in my life, anybody talk about the spin on the ball having an effect. She's like, one thing you have to one thing you have to understand is when that ball's put in by the outside the boot from Casemiro, it's spinning away from it's spinning, which I understand that the ball's spinning. It's because
it would have gone that way then.
So he says the way he heads it, you have to understand that. So he reckons he used to aim at different parts of the net because of spin.
Shut up.
And they were like, I've never ever. If that was a left-footed player whipping it another way, it would be spinning the exact same way.
Mate, we're not going to waste more time talking Michael Owen's shite.
It's bananas, that, isn't it, though?
Yeah. So, 0-0. Good result.
Solid, yeah. Better than 4-1 last season.
Yeah, with the return of Ronaldo, wasn't it? We were lucky just part of the Ronaldo show for that one. So, yeah, I think that was a solid result. If you offered that before the game, I would have accepted 0-0 and gone on.
Well, I thought score draw, and I think you said you were worried about the game, so I think we'd have taken a point. By the end of the game, I was like, yeah, happy.
So that score draw puts us with the best defence in the Premier League.
Well, non-score draw. Best.
Sorry, not non-score, yeah.
Yeah, because City obviously conceded, didn't they? So
yes, we were on 9 and whoever else was on.
City, I think, are on 10 and somebody else on
Brighton
10.
and Everton were the other two teams that were level with us last week. Brighton obviously got beat 2-0 and Everton got beat 2-0. So yeah, we're the best defence in the Premier League, mate.
That is nuts, isn't it? Did you see the we've been shared recently again, the resharing of Simon Jordan saying
Any sides can't defend.
Well, I will say though, I did listen to today for a little bit, or I saw the video on YouTube, and he was saying Eddie Howe's silenced people like myself, saying he couldn't defend because he's proven people like me wrong. So fair play.
Yeah, fair play if you own up to it. Right, so should we go into Everton, mate?
Yeah, I'm there. Did I tell you I'm there?
Yeah,
I'm going.
Oh, nice. Well, I had to give my ticket away. Just Ange's been getting some extra kicks and some more funny feelings. So it's just, if St James's Park had signal, I probably might risk it and go. But
we had signal that time in the heavens against Bournemouth. We had some signal, didn't we? Sat on the roof.
Yeah, not this time. Yeah, definitely not sat in the middle of the Gallagher. It's like being in a
bunker.
Yeah, a bunker. So couldn't risk it getting this close. So I've got some stats for you. We have beaten Everton 21 times. Everton have beaten us 22 times.
Oh.
And drawn 11. The last three results between Everton and us was the 1-0 to Everton. Iwobi. That's where, was it Alan got sent off for them? When he tripped Maxi,
yeah.
After that was the 3-1.
Yeah, it was the first real dominant display where we were pressed.
Trippier free kick and
it was the first time we really got after a team and we bullied them
Yeah, it was good. And then Newcastle won 2-0 away. Wilson scored 2 and that ended a 9-game streak of us not having a win.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. The dark days. Everton's last 5 games, they got beat at Spurs away 2-0. They got beat at Man United 2-1 at home. They beat Southampton away 2-1. Beat West Ham 1-0 at home and drew 0-0 with Liverpool. They've been favouring a 5-3-2. So their last starting 11 was, the back 5 was McNeil, Dwight McNeil. He's been playing like a full-back, wing-back role for them. Cody, Tarkovsky and Seamus Coleman and what's the Ukrainian called? Molenko.
Yeah.
And then the midfield 3 was Onana, Iwobi and is it Goyanya?
What, just a gay?
Gay?
Gay, yeah. Just a gay, yeah.
And then up top, you played Damari Gray and Mupe, who they got from Brighton.
Did Craig Gordon? Gordon was thingy, wasn't he? Suspended.
Was he?
Aye. That's why I think they played that, because they played 4 at the back previously.
Mm.
Yeah, because they played Cody at the back 4 previously, and they must have played Coleman, Cody, Tarkovsky, Malenko, and Gordon, Damari Gray, then Mope up top, so must be the front 3, and then Onana, who looks a good player by the way, Idrissa Gueye, and who's the other one? Iwobi, who've moulded into this copying the old Joe Linton, trying to make a forward, centre midfielder. I think they're an improved side. I read somewhere that 1 or one or two of the players that started in the got beat off Spurs this season. The last time they played Spurs, only one or two of the players were in the starting lineup. So they've brought some players in, like.
Not bad for a team which has got any money, skin, smashed financial fair play, broke, like.
Yeah, it might still bite them that, like.
So, what's your thoughts? What's your guts?
I think we'll get a win.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think we'll get a win. Yeah, I think it's going to be really tough. I think it depends. Hopefully, Willock will be feeling good. I think there'll be Anderson will be involved a little bit more. I think.
Do you might see Burns slip into centre half, Target come in, rest somebody, or
could do?
But then last week you were saying Champions League sides roll teams out and.
Charlotte, he broke his leg going down that fucking bank off like that cliff at the end of Old Trafford.
It's so bizarre that isn't Old Trafford has them dips at the end of each ground.
Ridiculous, isn't it? I don't know. Like, what do you do? Do you reel them out for this one at home? Because we've got Spurs away next.
I know that's what I'm thinking. Try and get the three points against Everton.
I reckon so.
Yeah, and then just shut up shop against Tottenham.
Because I reckon that press. I reckon if Spurs get through that press, it's different than Man Utd getting out of the press. Like that front three.
That's
although
what
Richarlison
wants as well. He'd quite welcome that on, and he wants to play on the break.
Yeah.
And as much as Newcastle, we've only lost one game all season, which was against a 90th minute goal against Liverpool. So we should have a little bit more confidence. But I suppose this beating Newcastle fan of the last 14 years still comes out at me and thinks, by the time we make a couple of changes, the team does look different. Like you look at the team, the last 15 minutes against Man United versus the team at the start, and
I think we're a different beast at home.
Tell you what was interesting though, Shelby on the bench.
I know, yeah. Big John Joe. Yeah, he might be involved. He'd be massive for us, like. I don't think he'd be starting.
No.
But he might be involved, yeah. It'd be good to see him back as well, because what a difference it makes having him added to the sort of the centre midfield. At least we're back to being that strong centre midfield.
Because I'm going to continue to say I'm worried,
right?
Just to keep the streak going. So I'm worried about Everton. But it would be nice to see us in the lead, where we can bring Bruno off, maybe bring Shelby on just to start getting him some minutes under his belt, just to try and keep Bruno fit to start all three.
The one thing I'd say about Everton is they're defensively solid.
Yeah.
They ain't got that many goals in them, I don't think, though.
No, they haven't. They've been struggling to score goals.
That's the difference.
And they were actually defensively tight. Yeah, I know they said this got beat 2-0, but they had one of the best defensive records in the league, so they're not scoring many, they're not conceding many. So Frank's obviously just said, look, we'll shoot up shop and try and nick games here and there. So that might walk into Newcastle's advantage if they're not an attacking team.
I've got a stat for you.
Go on then.
So Newcastle in the 40 games of the last calendar year had conceded like 80 odd goals. In this calendar year, in the 29 games we've played, we've conceded 29 goals. What a difference there! If you have another 10 games at that ratio, it'll be a 40 goal swing. Mad, isn't it? Absolutely nuts that. So I do think, yeah. Just I want to tell you that when I came in my head. Yeah. My brother texted me that. He's like, make sure you see this in the pod. I am the same as you. I'm trying to fight through. I'm trying to fight through that. Yeah, cheers, mate. Trying to fight through that worry of just constantly always thinking negatively as a Newcastle fan. But I reckon at home we are a different beast. Everton aren't that good away from home. They weren't last season. I don't think they followed that form on. Mm-hmm. I think we'll need to be clinical because they're defensively much better. Tarkovsky and Cody are arguably a solid English pairing, probably up there with .
So Cody, I really like Cody. I would have would have loved to see him come to Newcastle. Age is probably going against him based on what we were signing. I think Dan, we talked about this before. Tarkovsky would have been a January transfer window signing.
Yeah.
Cody might have been the summer one, but based on his age, is probably not what they want to do. I think they brought in the older players, especially outfield players, in the January because we had a job to do. Yeah.
Isn't it just though, but on that side note though, Glenn, how we all were it's going to cost an absolute mountain to get Cody out of there. And they're signing for
he's on loan.
That's probably enough for Bruno Lage to lose his job anyway,
Yeah.
Because he didn't think he could play in the back four, but he's played predominantly in the back four this season with Everton.
It's ridiculous. Club captain. I genuinely can't see why he would have let him go. If it's as he upset the dress, we can't imagine him upset the dressing room because he basically fucking ran it. He spoke very well. Like we used to do a full Premier League podcast as well. So we talked about how we liked the way Wolves was run. They were like a decent club.
The social media stuff was great. Like you'd see him always be at the forefront of it. Like
Cody spoke very well. A great leader and
brilliant for England when he's there. Speaks really well at England. Always like he's kind of player. I think at England like. Never going to win. He's not in the starting lineup. He's just going to be there to help anybody. Like, it's just meant like, I'm a big fan here. That's still I'm at Newcastle. Me, like,
I was very, very surprised to see that they loaned him to Everton.
There's talk of Nuno coming back. He'd be like, right, get that loan fee cancelled. Get back here, son. Come on.
Yeah, where's that contract? Rip that up.
Get him back on loan. But there's goals in it for Newcastle. We've got goals in us. I think. How would they cope with us pressing really high? Not sure. Nice to see Shelby back. That means it will hopefully really spend energy in the engine room of Newcastle. That's what will be Newcastle at that midfield three, absolutely knocking their pan in. I think maybe 2-1, something like that.
You reckon?
Yeah. If you keep Gordon quiet, if you keep Gordon and Gray quiet, Gray can be hit and miss. He can do absolutely something, absolutely nothing. But Gordon's the one you got to keep quiet. I think. He's like a talisman, isn't he?
The thing at Wolves is when you find strikers that don't score.
Every time someone's a 19-game goal drought, come to St James's, mate, we'll square you away.
Used to hear these stats and like for now it's like Mope who scored like 2 for Brighton. I think he's got 1 already for Everton this season, but doesn't score many goals. But for years and years, this striker hasn't scored since he was like playing for his primary school.
Comes to Newcastle, it's hat-trick.
Yeah, and then you see like Lascelles and I don't know, someone like in Clark part like the Red Sea, and it's just 10 minutes through just sliding past freaking Darlow and goal.
You fucking hell.
Yeah,
that is so true. That I feel we were haunted, and also like it was the hasn't scored for his new club yet. That was also a massive one. Yeah, if you hadn't scored 5 games in, he's yet to score, but he's got Newcastle next week, so that'll be all right. Yeah, that's so true. That like. Go on and give us a prediction.
Do you want me to stick with the worried one?
Whatever you feel comfortable with, mate.
Well, part of me saying that I'm confident for this game. I think we're going to win 2-0, but for the sake of pod, I'm going to say I'm worried.
Just keep that. Not tempt fate. I think. I don't think Everton should be scoring. Defensively, how good we are, good we are off the ball, how well drilled we are. By the way, we didn't even mention how good was Botman again, man.
And Shah.
Yeah, I mean, the pair of them are good, but Botman, 22, he looks absolutely outrageous. And now he's settled in, he's comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, the first couple of games on the ball, he's a bit like you can see it was like the big stadium and all that. But, my God, now he looks... He looks like, imagine 3 or 4 years' time when he's like 26, 27. He is going to be unreal, man.
He looks like he's played in the Premier League down for years.
He really does, doesn't he?
He could literally, and I know this might make some people laugh, but when you hear of centre-halves who are unplayable against, he could be like a Van Dijk in the future.
There's one slight chink. He hasn't got the pace that someone like Van Dijk has across the ground. Like, he was quick, wasn't he? Although now he looks heavy and slow, but yeah, I think Botman he's everything else. Like, he's reading the game. He knows when to go in, when to stay out. When someone drops off in the middle, he knows he's reading. He's got that knack. Like, he's just so good. Anyway, so I don't think we should be conceding. That's the thing. Like, and it's I think we just need to get a break. Like, we need one of those like Joe Linton wants to go in or something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
this game's got Callum Wilson wrote all over to me. He hasn't scored for a couple of games. We know he's a 1 and 2 striker.
Yeah.
His stats for the Premier League show that. For Newcastle, he show that. He should be picking up a goal or 2.
Do you remember a goal he scored a couple of years ago for Everton? One of his most underrated ones. Not for Everton, against Everton. The corner, the flick header he scored. He proper flick across at the bottom corner. maybe one of them. That was a underrated Callum Wilson goal. That's one of my favourite ones he scored that. But
Callum Wilson's just an underrated striker.
But yeah, I reckon. Yeah, you're right. It's got him written all over it. We need the wingers to be good. We need Miggy and Murphy to be
cool.
To be good.
And then Spurs, we've got to look ahead to them.
Tougher.
Sunday, last time in Tottenham was 5-1. So we lost our heads and just, I'm sure they pinged in.
Oh yeah, and the battle was 3-1 at home because
the away game. No, it was 3-2 at home.
Was it 3-2 at home? Was it?
Yeah, because that was the did Dye score an own goal or something like that? It was
Later
when
on.
Shelby got sent off. It was the first game after the takeover, so it was still a good day. 3-2, we got beat, but the away day, I'm sure it was 4-5-1.
Yeah, I think you're right. That was the one game that we were like, oof, that was poor.
You get them ones. You have a bad day at the office now and again. So what's your thoughts? You think Man City gone toe-to-toe with them? Liverpool went toe-to-toe with I don't want to say a second 11, but there was a lot of rotation. Man United and obviously coming out against one of the other big teams, Tottenham. Should we be that worried, or should we start having faith in Newcastle?
I think we've got faith in Newcastle. Like, I just think there'll be you gotta have a plan for Harry Kane. I don't mean Harry Kane in and around the box. Like, if he gets chances, he's gonna score goals. He's lethal. But you gotta have a plan to get the service into him, because it's who goes in with him with the press. Like, because if you allow the ball into him and give him space to turn, that's when they're deadly. It's all about Harry Kane. I think, like, as good as Son is and Kulusevski is, and for Charleston looks like he'll be out. He'll have to be off the knee.
With Charleston and Kulusevski.
Oh, is he out as well? Is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Kulusevski was out before the weekend.
Oh, who they play? Oh, that'll be what's his name? Might play then old Brazilian player Lucas Moura. Yeah,
Lucas Moura.
Yeah, he may have a.
Because what Tottenham did against Everton was when Charleston went off injured, everyone thought they were going to bring Moura on, and Conte brought on Basuma, changed the formation.
Because they played two in midfield for quite some time. If they go 3 in midfield with Basuma, I think that's better for them versus us. I'd rather see them go 2 in midfield. I think we get all over them. I think we can really hound their back 3, and then with our front 3, and then Jolit and Bruno, whoever it is in midfield, can really get about that, like Bentancur and Højbjerg. And I think neither of them are that good. Neither of them are good enough on the ball to get themselves out of that. So, but if they play Basuma as well, I think that probably is better for them, and go maybe with the 2 up top, Kane and Son, maybe that.
Yeah. So
tough. If you get a point out of that, I'm delighted. Usually, if you go to London to get a point, I'm usually delighted. Generally.
Yeah.
Don't know what you're thinking.
I'm worried.
Yeah. I'm more worried that Spurs that side that can just go like bam, bam, bam. And it's like 3-0 before you know it. So I didn't realise Kulusevski was he'll be a big miss.
I think it'll be either like a 1-0 to Newcastle, or could we get a little bit naughty and could be like 3-0 and
no Kulusevski and no Richarlison makes a difference, because it doesn't balance.
Son's not really on form. He's only scored 3. Fair enough, he scored them all in like 10 minutes or whatever.
Aye, 2 worldies. He's so good, isn't he? I don't know. It's hard. I can't see us scoring many. That's the issue. I can see us being involved and really dominant and playing a really big part in the game in terms of like toe-to-toe with them.
This is where our high energy game might bite us in the ass. 3 games in 8 days. You got Maxi's injured, you got Isak's injured, Shelby's just coming back, Willock's being a bit sick or whatever. The replacement rotation players aren't as good as the start 11. If we had our strongest start 11, with the likes of like a Murphy coming off the bench for the last 10 or 15 minutes, with them, like a Longstaff maybe coming off the bench for 10 minutes. You know them substitutions where like, okay, Willock's run himself into the ground, or Maxi's hamstring's gone again, so like but I think it's just the third game where it's like, right, we need to bring off Murphy and bring on like a...
Well, Shelby could be important then. Shelby could be important, him coming back and actually him maybe getting some minutes from the start maybe.
But just that next drop off, which as much as we're excited about him, Murphy to Anderson, or like even Miggy to Fraser, because Fraser hasn't looked to play this season.
He didn't take Miggy off, he'll run all day. He's probably still running now. No, I get that, like, and I think that's why I said earlier on I was delighted to have Shelby back, because that 5 in that midfield, because that's the engine, that's where all the real work is done. Like between the front 3 and that midfield 3, they get through some graft. Like, I don't think we're going to get anything from Spurs. I don't. I can't. The defensively very good, and I cannot see us.
Conte plays some boring football. Doesn't he?
He does, and Kane and Son are generally. It's got Son coming back from fucking that's what it's got. It's got that is literally Son hasn't had a great season, not scored a huge amount. Newcastle go down. There we go. Son 3 minutes in, 1 5 minutes in 2. Like that's.
No, I know what you mean.
If we can come away with a point, if we can get 4 points out of these next 2, so we get 5 points out of Old Trafford, St James's versus Everton, and we're at. I mean, we are banging the top table. We are like that is. You have to start saying we are top 6 material. Then you have to. You have to. You have. You can't.
It's fun to say it, isn't it?
It is, but you have to. I think if you got Murphy and Miggy, you're going to get 5 points and going to Old Trafford and White Hart Lane.
Yeah. The dizzy heights.
Yeah, we're in the mix anyway, aren't we? But don't let you see it in 10th faith, but we're in the mix. What are you saying? What's the score going to be? I'm going to say 3-1 at home at Everton, and I'm going to say honking awful game to watch, 1-1 draw at away.
We're going to beat Everton 2-0.
Yeah, solid result.
I think we're going to get beat by Spurs.
By what margin? By what margin you turncoat?
Oh God! And I genuinely hope I come on the pod next week, apologise and say, Eddie, you pulled out of the bag again, you tactical genius. Who would have known how incredible Richie was or something?
Yeah,
he's actually injured as well.
Yeah. But remember though, they're also going to be. They don't have a huge squad really, if you think about it as well. Their midfielders like Bentancur, Basuma, Højbjerg, and like Oliver Skip. So like they're going to reel out the same players as well. Like no Kulusevski and no what's his name for them. Where's Bergwijn up to these days?
I don't know what the scores, and I don't think we're going to get a result.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be too upset if we got, if that week of football.
You got 4 points.
Yeah, you take that like you did the week, but
yeah,
then you did a week.
But yeah, especially with the injuries that we've had, the squad that we're looking at, what we've done in such a short period of time is still incredible. So,
does it feel like we've got to just get through to the World Cup? Is it kind of feeling a bit like that now with the injuries?
It is, it is, and hopefully reinforce a couple of extra people.
Yeah. Get out, Madison, lad. Go on.
Yeah, just talk with Madison again.
Just go on. Just look, get Madison. Yeah.
You reckon all of Madison?
What is the end of his contract? Yeah, just he's got to be like, come on, get me out there.
So let's take a 2-minute break and then we'll talk some FPL for a few minutes there.
Let's do it.
Yeah, okay. But if you have listened to us so far, make sure you're downloading, subscribing, and sharing the pod wherever you are.